Hey everybody, good afternoon. It's about 4:30 p.m. Markets are closed, and I'm going to be doing an update on Bitcoin, the S&P 500, and NASDAQ. This is all just my opinion on the market. I'm also going to take a look at bond yields because we've been doing very well trading bond yields as well. So we're going to go ahead and keep it as short and sweet as possible. Before I get into any of this, as you all know, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research, and I'm just giving my opinion on the market. So let's go ahead and move on into the chart. We're going to start here with the S&P 500. So first off, I think there's reasonable. I think it's reasonable to be somewhat cautious down here. One thing that I will say is you have to be very careful when the market is in a downfall, because people talk about falling knives. Don't catch falling knives. Don't be a hero. If you're going to take any positions, be as conservative as possible. So in our trading room, we have been taking equity on the long side. Now we've been taking options to the short side for a few weeks now. But if you're going to be a cautious bull, the best thing that you can do for yourself is to play equity. And that's exactly what we've done. We purchased, like 7 or 8 different assets using the formula that I instruct our users to do. And we've got stopped out on one of them, but all the rest are still in play. They're still active and they're still rolling. What we can see here is the S&P is actually closing below 4,000 for the first time in a long time. I'm here on the hourly chart. If I zoom out here, we haven't been this low since all the way back here in March of 2021. Now, this is a pretty significant pivot area, in my opinion, just based off of this zone right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark that off. So that's right there at about 39. We'll call it 39.81. We've got areas of resistance here, which should act as support on the way down. And that's kind of where we're at right now. And also, if that breaks, the next area that I see is going to be right here at about 38.60. Do I think we're going to go to 38.60? Only time will tell. What I can tell you is based off of what we've got right here. It looks like from the top here, we've got 5 waves down. We've got an expanded flat to the upside for wave 2. We had a really great wave 3 target that was realized down here. Then we had a big, massive rally off of that. That was a deep wave 4, and it was a quick wave 4. Now, wave 2 took a little bit of time. Wave 4 was very fast. And now that we have realized this target here for wave 4, we're obviously working down for wave 5. This is why I'm a cautious bull. And one of the reasons why is because we are at that area where we should see some support. We have an area where we have extended the trough for wave 3. We've extended beyond that, leaning on ourselves into a wave 5 scenario, right? So from the top, right, we have an A, B, C into a W, A, B, C into an X, A, B, C into a Y, which ended up, in my opinion, being a wave A. So that's 3 waves down. And then from the bottom, we have a nice A, B, C to finish wave B. We did not fill this gap, just for the record. I'm just going to toss that out there. That gap will get filled. I believe that gap will get filled probably before the year is over. So just kind of throw that out there. So A, B, working on C. Okay, so we're working on C, but then what happens next? After we realize this low over here, I actually believe we're going to start a decent move to the upside. I think we're actually going to start a move up to roughly 4,900 to 5,400. That's kind of where I'm expecting a major top to occur. I think a lot of people are already expecting the S&P 500 to have already topped out. I'm not in that camp. I don't think we've topped out yet. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for us to have already topped out. And one of the main reasons why, and let me see if I can get this for you here. I'm going to see if I can get a different SPX on here, and I'm going to go to a weekly. Okay, so I'm going to look at the weekly here on the S&P, and what I'm going to focus on, I'm going to put this on log scale, I'm going to focus on from this bottom right here. So first off, we have completed from up here A, B, C, D, E. Okay, so we've completed a broadening wedge, and then from there we have been ascending in 5 waves. From up here, we've got a nice 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, and then we go up for that wave 5. Now let's just take a look here from a Fibonacci perspective. Does this make sense that we are at a potential low right now? So let's just go ahead and tag the top of that. We'll get it as perfect as possible. The 50% is going to be sitting right there at about 39.32. We are all but there right now. And again, that falls in line with this area over here. So let me just go ahead and circle this for you. This area right over here is an area of support. We should see that as support as we start to move down into it. So that would be a good scenario to complete wave 4, again down here at about 39 to 39.50. We don't have to hit the 50, but it would make sense if we did. And then we should be looking for a move up to the negative 236. Okay, so that's another area we talk about quite a bit. The negative 236 is at 5,300. Okay, so this doesn't look like a completed impulse to the upside. It doesn't look like it's completed. It does look like, wave 2 did go very shallow. And so that means wave 4 is going to go deep. And that's exactly what's going on here. And so our target to the upside is going to be 53.03. Another way that you can measure this is taking the bottom and you're going to measure wave 1 all the way to wave 3. And we're going to project it from the bottom of wave 5. That 618 is going to be sitting right up there. That's going to be our target to the upside. That's at about 55.50. Okay, so this is where I'm going to be looking for making significant decisions in my personal life. Basically, I'm going to be looking to move a lot of assets out of the stock market at that area. If we do happen to move into that zone, I'm going to be looking to get out, because if I'm right, then what's going to happen after we see that move up, so let's say we continue moving down, then we see a nice little 1, 2, 3 test to that all-time high, and then if we push up into that by the end of the year, I think we're going to see a significant downfall back to COVID levels. I'm looking at about 2,200 on the S&P over the next 2 years. So there's going to be plenty of time to wait. And basically, I think we're going to be entering a bear market that's probably going to last about 2 years. It's going to be hard to make money during that time period. So it's going to be really dicey. You have to be very careful with that. So that's what I think is happening with the S&P 500. It's no secret. I'm not trying to keep anything from you. That is just my hypothesis on the market. And, take that information with you as you will. Make sure you do your own research before you enter in any trades. If you need any help with trades and anything like that, you can find a whole bunch of information on our Discord, and I share all of my trades in there as well. What I want to talk about Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is a very, very fickle beast. I'm going to take a look at Bitcoin on the Bitfinex exchange. Because what I want to look at here on Bitcoin is a scenario that not too many people are looking at, not too many people would probably be very fond of. And that is the fact that it's very possible that, if we break down from these lows here, so let's just talk about this. Let's talk about these lows right here. And again, you can take this, you go straight left. Right, that area right there is very, very important. We could go a little bit lower. We could come down here to 28.5. That would still be okay. Now, granted, we're sitting here at about almost 31,000. Just on the other side of 31,000, we are sitting at about 30,700 right now. Could we go a little bit lower? Yes. Does it look like we're getting close to seeing a bottom on Bitcoin? I actually think that there is, at least for the short term. Because again, what I think we're in the middle of building right now is something that doesn't look very good. A lot of people are talking about Bitcoin going to $100,000, yada yada yada. Yeah, I think it'll get there. Do I think it's going to get there next year? I'm starting to not think that, and I want to kind of explain why. Okay, why do I think that Bitcoin is nowhere near getting to $100,000? Well, let me get on the BLX. Okay, so let me just go ahead and clear this all off. We're just going to take a look at this here for a moment. And what did we have, right? We had a massive move up here to $20,000. And this is where you started to be able to short Bitcoin. Okay, so of course you were able to, in about 2015, about this area right here is where BitMEX opened. You could start opening up inverse perpetual swaps on Bitcoin. And then of course, institutions were able to start shorting Bitcoin up here at this level right now, or sorry, right there at about $20,000. We're all aware of this. We all know this. I'm not telling you anything that you haven't already been told. But because of that, we had a massive move to the upside. But this doesn't seem logical. This doesn't seem like this correction. Okay, let's just look at the correction here for a moment. Does this correction right here look like it is enough of a correction to correct even all of this? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So what does that mean? Okay, what does that mean? Well, what it looks like we're starting to do, and I've already mentioned this, we are starting to poke the bear on this support right here. What happened the last time we were poking the bear? Okay, this level right here, when we were poking the bear, eventually broke down. Okay, we broke down. And actually from here, from where we broke down to the bottom, that was a drop of about 50% in value. Actually, it was, I didn't think I did that right. Let's check this again. About 52% from where we broke down to the bottom. Now, that's not from the top to the bottom. From the top to the bottom, it was more significant. It was about 85%. All right, so what's 85%? From the top up here, 85% would take us to roughly about $10,000. Now, can we get to $10,000? Absolutely we can. Absolutely we can. Do I think we're going to? Based on what I see here and the regulations that I see that are going to be coming, whether anybody is talking about it now or not, there is major regulation that's going to be coming to the crypto market that's not going to be all that great for it. I don't want to be a major bear right now because I am a bull on Bitcoin because of the low float and the constant reduction of float as well. As more institutions buy Bitcoin, there's less Bitcoin on the market to manipulate the price. But with less being out there, it's easier to manipulate the price. So I don't want to confuse the two. But if we break down below this 30,000, then it doesn't surprise me one bit if we were to come down here to 14.5 and really possibly coming down here to 20. It's best to zoom out and take a look at this. What was I just showing you on the S&P? I was just showing a 50% retrace for a wave 4 that is going deeper than other pullbacks that we have seen. So let's just take a look at this right here. What a lot of people are trying to count this as from this bottom here as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's what a lot of people want to count this as. I think that is probably true. I think that is probably the case. But what does that then mean? If this is a 5-wave impulse, how long did that take? Okay, let's just go ahead and see. This is measured in weeks. Okay, that was 383 weeks, 2,681 days. And we're saying that correction of that 2,681 days completed in 357. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. It would make a lot more sense for these, again, counting it again, 2,625 days. Half of that is 1,300 days. Where does 1,300 days take us to? Okay. Well, 1,300 days roughly took us to about this peak. Well, that doesn't look like it should be or could be the end of a correction. I think it's probably going to take longer. So if we take a little bit longer, let's go ahead and measure the time here. I don't do this very often because it's hard to measure time, but I'm going to go ahead and measure the time here from this bottom to this top. Okay, so 100% equality on the time is going to be here on February 24th, 2025. I actually think that we're going to have a significant bottom in January of 2024. So we're going to add the 1618 on here, and let's go ahead and change that to 175. Okay, so the 175 is going to be here at about May of 2023. I still believe that around January of 2024 is where this bottom is going to be. But now, if we have an expanded flat that we're dealing with right now, so from the top here, the bottom, and do the pullback, right? And I'm on log scale, so I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to put this here. Sorry, put this on log scale. I'm going to put the 123.6 on there, but I also want to put the 1618 because I think these are important levels to pay attention to. These are levels that we're probably going to find significant support. The 100, which actually seems to be the most likely, is again, back at that same level at about 10,700. We were talking about 10,000 just a little bit ago. 10,700. Do I sound like I'm going crazy? I probably do to you, because fact of the matter is, everybody that I know, every major analyst out there is looking at this. And what are they counting this as? Okay, they're looking at this from the bottom here as a 1, 2, 3, 4, working on the 4 still, and then we go up for wave 5. And there's nothing wrong with that. And it could be that we have a significant bottom that we are working on creating. But in my opinion, that bottom should be at a 100% equality from here. We'll measure the top to the bottom. We get the pullback. We should be seeing a major bottom right here at about 30,794. And right now we are at that level at this very moment. We're at 31,000 right now. This is your final stand. If we don't break through that, sorry, the other way around. Let me flip it. I'm going to Willy Wonka here real quick. Reverse it. If we don't find significant support here, then we're going to break down much lower. You're going to start to see despair. I have not seen despair in this market yet. There are people that are still optimistic. Even though fear and greed is, one of the lowest readings I have seen in a long time. Fear and greed on crypto is at 11, and it hasn't been this low in actually quite a while. It hasn't been this low in a really, really long time. Once we get down here into, the single digits, that, historically speaking, has been a great time to be buying. It has been a great time to be buying. I would not short Bitcoin down here. I think it's probably dangerous to do, especially down where we're at right now. I would be looking to buy. I would be very careful about leveraged long positions. You have to be very careful with that because, as I mentioned, I haven't seen despair. I haven't seen panic. That doesn't mean we're going to see it, right? That doesn't mean we're going to see it. We've seen a significant drop down since we tapped 40,000 just a few days ago. Back on the 4th or the 5th, we tapped 40,000 and then we fell hard. And we have just basically continued to bleed since then. I would be very careful shorting Bitcoin down here. If you're not already short, you're late to the party. You are already at a point where everybody else is bearish, okay? So I probably sound like I'm confused and I don't know what's going on. Well, right now I actually think Bitcoin is going to be moving up. I'm not going to talk about upside targets on Bitcoin right now, but I actually do think Bitcoin is going to be going up here in the coming days, maybe the coming weeks. I'm interested to see what Bitcoin does between now and the middle to the end of July. Okay, so more than likely we are going to see a move up into the middle of July, and I will be sort of reevaluating things once we get there. Again, as I mentioned before, and this is BLX, this doesn't have the updated, price action on Bitcoin, but we're basically right here. This is basically where your wave 4 would hit. Okay, I would be looking for a move that looks a little bit like this. Okay, something like that into July. But from there, man, guys, be careful. Be very, very careful. Be nimble and look for more greed. Watch the sentiment. You know, Twitter is one of those things where, it's very interesting. But you have to be very careful. And again, the reason why you need to be careful is for all of the reasons that I mentioned before. Does it make sense for this to be the correction of this 5-wave impulse? No. No, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that this is it. Okay? I think that we have an interesting series of events that are going to unfold, and maybe it's Russia related. I don't know. Maybe it's inflation related. Maybe it's bond yield related, which I'll talk about here in just a moment. Don't know what it is that's going to be it. It doesn't make sense that something's going to go out there and kill Bitcoin, but it doesn't take much to cause Bitcoin to drop significantly. In Bitcoin's history, how many quote unquote crashes have we seen? Well, let's just go ahead and take a look at this. Turn on my price range tool and take a look at this. Okay, from this high right here, major crash, 93%. From this high right here, major crash, 77%. This high here to this low, 85%. Very similar. We saw the same thing right here, 83%. From this high here to this low, 70%. From here down to here, 50%. And it's happened again. We've dropped another 50%. But look at this, 93, 77, 85, 83, 72. We're due for an 80 to 90% pullback in the crypto market. I'm not saying it's going to happen in the next 2 months, because no, I don't think it's going to happen in the next 2 months. But I do think that once we do resolve here in approximately June timeframe, July timeframe, I think we have some downside, more downside and more significant downside ahead of us going into January 2024. What's going to end up happening is we're going to see a big move to the upside, and you're going to basically see some of these support levels get taken out. This right here, this is an important one right there at about 45,000. Once you see that level get taken out, everybody's going to be like, yeah, we're going to new highs. We're going to new highs. You're going to start to see people that are going to be talking about this. They're going to be like, yep, we broke out. We broke out of this. Oh, and hey, by the way, we have done a retest. We had some resistance here. We went back and we retested it, and now we are breaking out. This is the most bullish thing we've ever seen in our lives in crypto. You can just imagine the headlines right now. It's probably what we're going to see. And fact of the matter is, this rally should probably be faded to a certain degree. Alts are probably going to do fantastic. Okay, just for the record, I think there's a lot of opportunity in altcoins as long as you pick the right ones and you don't get stuck inside of losers, and you're responsible with your trading. But there's a lot of money to be made in both Bitcoin and altcoins. I still think that Ethereum over the next decade has the potential of getting up to $20,000. I think everything that's happening right now is just noise. It's just noise. Okay. So let's talk about bond yields. We have been bearish on TLT, really bullish on bond yields for the last 2 months. It was like February 7th, February 8th, we were getting TLT puts. So let's look at this. US 30Y, this is the 30-year bond yields, and this is on the daily. Let's go to an hourly chart here. It has been dropping off the cliff. I didn't take any calls on TLT today. Beginning of the day, I thought to myself, I just closed out all these TLT puts on Friday. That was a great decision. And then we opened up lower today. And I thought, man, that was a mistake. But then look at the rally that we had in TLT today. Now, the bond yields, I had been looking for a move, not on the 30-year specifically, but on the 10-year. I'd been looking for a move up to hit and potentially exceed a little bit, 3%. The US 30, so the 30-year bonds, I was looking for these to go up to 3.3%. And this it went as high as 3.309. We'll call it 3.31%. That's where I was looking to exit the position. But I certainly wasn't about to go bullish on TLT immediately. I'm not usually that type of a trader. But TLT did really, really well today, considering what the market was doing. Again, S&P closed below 4,000. NASDAQ closed below 12,200. 12,200 NASDAQ. Unbelievable. But what I think we're going to start seeing, and I'm going to talk about this in terms of so US 10Y, so the 10-year yields. Again, we poked, actually, it went up a lot more than I actually thought that it did. 10-year went to 3.2%. Now we're back down here retesting this 3% level, which we pushed through, but I'm not ready to get super bearish on this. So what I think, excuse me, what I think is more than likely going to happen, let's take a look at the ZN futures. So this is the T-note, the 10-year T-note futures. What I think more than likely is going to happen is we're going to see a significant move to the upside, okay? And I think we're going to get a pullback. So if you want to play this, ZN is a lot cheaper, a lot smaller margin requirements to trade the ZN futures than it is to trade the ZB futures. So ZN futures are really the one to play if you're going to play it. But I actually think if I'm going to go ahead and flip this over to daily, and I'm going to keep myself on log scale here, okay, so looking at this, I still remember we took a trade way back here to go long on ZN futures, and we were actually able to pull a significant amount of profit on that. But let's just take a look at this. We have had a significant move down. We had a little bit of a rally, then we had a huge move down. I mean, you can all agree with me. This is basically falling off a cliff. And again, we have been heavily bearish on TLT since about February. So it was, yeah, actually I think it was right back here when we already started to move down. It moved up, we were underwater, but then that all just printed cash for a long time there. For about 2 months, it was just doing nothing but printing cash. I think we're about to start to see a V-shaped recovery here, which is one of the reasons why I got out. It's very possible this guy comes all the way back up here to about 125.15. So again, that's going to be a significant area of support right there. And zooming out, do I see more confluence at that area? I mean, kind of. Not significant, maybe a little bit right here, and then some resistance right there. But yeah, 125. 125.18, 125.19, more than likely we're going to see a little bit of resistance. Yeah, so I do believe that we're going to see a little bit of a pullback in bond yield futures. One way or another, I'm out of my bond play, and I'm just going to kind of wait and see. If this does start to show a significant bounce, then I'll be more interested in maybe taking a bullish play on TLT, which again, TLT has been just falling off a cliff. And so, we're back here at the same level that we were in 2018. 2018. We haven't been down at this level since 2018. This cluster right here, 2018. Okay, that's lower than it was in 2020. We didn't crash that low in 2020. Right? Obviously, TLT, went crazy in 2020, but nonetheless, look at this. We're all the way back to where we were in 2018. So I would expect there to be a significant amount of resistance at that level to the downside. So in other words, there would be support to the downside. Would I be interested in buying TLT? I actually kind of would be. I'd be interested in doing some covered calls. If I can get TLT down here below 115 and get like a 115 or 116 call, sell a 115 or 116 call, that could work out to my benefit. I could probably collect a pretty penny on that and probably be able to do it every week. Okay? So lots of different ways that you can play this market right now. There's lots of different ways to make money. Okay? We are heavily bearish on real estate right now. We are taking DRV and we are just driving DRV to the moon. Okay? This has been printing cash for about a little over a week and a half now. We have been bearish on real estate. DRV, we have calls. We've already rolled a couple times. DRN, that's the bearish side of things. This, I mean, look at that. That is a 13.8% drop today. We have been short on DRN again for about 2 weeks now. This has been, again, just printing cash. So there are ways to make money in a market that is just not doing well. Really, the market's not doing well. I mean, look, again, S&P 500 below 4,000. NASDAQ below 12,200. Dow Jones below 33,000. This is You know, a lot of 401ks are just evaporating cash right now. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to move those numbers from their accounts to our accounts while the opportunity is there. All right, guys, that is all that I have got for you right now. I've rambled and rambled and rambled for longer than I wanted to. We're 30 minutes in. I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. If this video did help you in any way, shape, or form, you know the deal. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And if you need trading help, if you need education, you can find all of that information in our Discord. You can go to bitdoctor.org, find all the information there, and we'd love to have you there. One last thing. Before I let you go, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, a good night, and a good evening. Take care, everyone.